Everyone, Dr. Jeff back this week. Had a couple weeks hiatus. We had a little flood in our office, so we were closed for a little bit, but we are back on track. So this week, what are you going to talk about this week?
We're going to go through what a typical chiropractic adjustment looks like.
So if you come and see me, or Dr. Adrian, Dr. Morello, we're kind of, and Dr. Greg, we all treat kind of the same. We do something called a manual manipulation. So that's where we actually physically move the bones around. It's called a high amplitude, low velocity thrust, so it's very quick, but it doesn't go very deep. And what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to actually reset what we call the Golgi tendon organs, which are the receptors in your muscles that tell your muscles how tight, and your brain how tight the muscles are. And by doing this type of adjustment, we can actually reset those Golgi tendon organs so the muscles kind of relax. That allows the joints to go back to the proper motion. Sometimes you might hear a sound. That's nothing to worry about when we do this. Anytime a joint moves, or any joint that moves has a fluid in it to lubricate it. And what can happen sometimes is when a joint gets warm, little gas bubbles form in this, and we adjust you. That's pretty cool. If you go on YouTube, you can actually see this happening. You see the bubble breaking inside the joint when we do the adjustment. That creates a popping noise. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It's not necessary for it to be there. Just sometimes you might hear a noise. And of course, the adjustment's not supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
Even though you hear a noise, I know I used to get people in and watch their parents or watch their spouse get adjusted, and they go, "Oh, he can't do that to me. That looks like it really hurts," but it doesn't really hurt. So a typical appointment with me usually lasts between 10 and 15 minutes. So the first thing I do is I'll ask you when you come in if you've actually hurt anywhere, if your back sore, is your neck sore. If you had any falls, what's going on, what's changed. If you had a new complaint, we'll generally do another examination. Today we're just doing call a maintenance visit, or something that Hannah's been in to see me before. We're kind of working on the same thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is just a kind of a screen. So typically what I do is I'm just kind of going down, I'm palpating. That's the one thing chiropractors learn in school, is how to palpate and feel if things aren't feeling quite right. Looking for tender spots like those ones right there. That's like C3, 4, 5 going on right rotation there. So I'm looking for these little tender spots. Sometimes I'm looking for little lumps and bumps along the way, kind of telling me muscles are tight or things are a little out of place. Hannah's got some issues going on with her neck because she has such good posture. So we check the neck out. Now I'm just going to go down. And some people say, are you counting the number of vertebrae? I'm not counting the vertebrae. All I'm doing is going along the side of the vertebrae, and I'm just moving, seeing how they're moving back and forth. So I go through the mid-back, and now I'm in the lumbar spine, and then I'll go through along the rib cage. One thing with bad posture and our too much time sitting in front of the computer is sometimes our ribs go up and down and in and out, and sometimes the ribs can kind of get stuck. When that happens, it almost feels like you got a knife sticking in your back and you don't know what it's from, and it turns into a bit of an ache, and that usually means you have a rib out. Sometimes you can't get a full breath in. We got one on this side here, right in there. So I've done my screening now. I found a few things. Now I'm actually going to hand to lie in her stomach for me. Because what can happen is, from sitting to standing, now we've eliminated gravity. So by eliminating gravity, the muscles don't have to keep you upright. So again, that allows us a little better chance to palpate, just to see how things are moving. Things might change a little bit. So again, we just double check to make sure things are moving pretty good, and where some tender spots might be. Another question I get sometimes is, how safe is the adjustment? Usually chiropractic adjustments are very safe. There's really no big side effects to it. You actually feel pretty good when we're done. One of the things I often do is I'll look and see if their legs are the same length, and we can see, well, you can't see here, but Hannah's right leg is about probably almost an inch short, and that tells me that the pelvis is kind of rotated. So I'll just double check that. If the pelvis is rotated, that's going to cause lots of torsion up through the spine. definitely. On this side here. The other thing I'll often do is I'm kind of looking up the spine, looking for if something's higher on one side than the other. If something's twisted, looking at how your pants are fitting, how your shirt's fitting. Line your back for me. So we also do lots of observation with chiropractic coming in. So again, I checked her mid back and low back when she was lying on her stomach. Now I'll check again, get rid of gravity, and we'll check the neck again. All right, so lots of lumps and bumps in there. So again, quite often, we won't do this on this video, but I'll spend, usually your appointments here will be 10 to 15 minutes with me, maybe longer if we're doing modalities such as IFC or shockwave or ultrasound, things like that. But with me, it'll be about 10 or 15 minutes. And I'll spend some time just trying to get some muscles loosened up here before I do any adjustments. Not going to spend as much time for the video as I would normally during the appointment, but get things set up. So I found a couple things inside her shoulder blades. So we're going to go in and do that now. Again, you might hear a little noise when you do this. It's not supposed to be painful. Big breath in and out. Oh, that was easy.
That went straight on.
Yeah. Is that sore at all?
Nope.
No? Oh, good, yeah. A lot of times too, I find that people with really stiff necks, breathe in and out. And if we get the upper back released first, that actually helps release the muscles of the neck before we go up there and do the neck. So now we'll just do a couple things in the neck, and so this looks like it's going to be painful, but it's not really painful at all. Big breath in and out. There you go. Just trying to get you to relax. Sometimes I'll say, get people to wiggle their toes or wiggle their fingers. There we go, just so they're not tensing up for the adjustment. So now we'll do a low back. We'll see if we get a pelvis better spot. So get you lie on that side for me. There we are. Get a little closer here. So what I have to do here is I have to rotate her pelvis around. So big breath in and out. On the other side. So I went to the bottom one first, and what I'm doing is I'm torquing it this way. And now this one here, I'm going to rotate it back this way. The whole idea is you're trying to get those legs the same length. Big breath in and out. Beautiful. There you go. On your back for me. Nice releases there. And bang, we're straight on. So that's our typical treatment that you'd get when you come in. As I say, you spend about 10 or 15 minutes with me. We do some little soft tissue work. We'll do whatever adjustments we need to do with you. If we need any modalities such as IFC or laser or shockwave or anything like that. Dr. Morella does some dry needling acupuncture. Adrian does some other types of soft tissue work. And of course, if you need exercises, we'll prescribe you some exercises when you come in. But that's our typical treatment.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this video, or if you have any suggestions, comment down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this with your friends. And here at Goldsworthy, we've got your back.